Skol Nation, stop scrolling right now. US Bank Stadium just got rocked by 3 bombshells that will make you question everything about this season. A legend just torched Minnesota on his way out the door. A safety made a hit so brutal the entire league is debating it. And Justin Jefferson just triggered a security incident that reveals the fire still burning inside this team. One number is already on the table, 31-0. The Vikings just delivered their first shutout in 2 years. J. McCarthy threw 3 touchdowns. And the playoff math is simple, but the drama behind the scenes is what has Viking Nation divided. If you skull louder than you breathe, smash that like button right now, and let Packers fans know the North isn't over yet. We start with the betrayal that has Minnesota furious. Stay locked, because there's a double cliffhanger at the end that will leave you shaking. 1 catch, 4 yards, less than 50% of offensive snaps. And somehow, Adam Thielen found a way to disrespect the organization that brought him back home. The legend who begged to return to Minnesota, the guy the Vikings gave up multiple draft picks to acquire from Carolina, just stood in front of Pittsburgh media after a meaningless performance and said the words that will echo through the Twin Cities for years. I got my love for the game back. Wait, what? You got your love for the game back after catching 1 pass for 4 yards in a Steelers uniform while the Vikings are fighting for their playoff lives? Let's rewind this disaster. Back in August, Thielen was begging the Panthers to trade him to Minnesota so he could finish his career where it all started. The Vikings made it happen. They welcomed him back with open arms. They gave him a roster spot, a paycheck, and a chance to retire a legend. And what did Thielen do? He posted a 16.7% drop rate this season. 16.7. That's not Pro Bowl production, that's elite ability. So when the Vikings started giving more snaps to Jordan Addison and Jalen Nailor, younger, faster, more reliable receivers, Thielen asked to be waived. And Minnesota, being the class organization they are, granted his request. They didn't have to. They could have kept him on the bench, made him ride out the season. But they let him walk. And this is how he repays them? By slamming the Vikings in his first interview with Pittsburgh? Here's what Viking Nation needs to understand. This was never about finishing his career in Minnesota. This was about Adam Thielen wanting snaps he no longer deserves. He's 35 years old. He's slower than he was. And his hands aren't reliable anymore. The Vikings made the right call giving younger players more opportunities, and Thielen couldn't handle it, so he quit. Twice. First on Carolina, now on Minnesota, and when Pittsburgh realizes he's not the answer either, Thielen walk. Or should they have kept him for leadership? Drop your take in the comments below. And if you believe younger weapons like Addison and Nailor are the future of this offense, hit that like button and let Thielen know the league has moved on. But as messy as that situation is, the next story is time Pro Bowler who just moved past Shannon Sharpe for 5th all-time in tight end receptions, went down hard after a hit from Vikings safety Jay Ward. The cart came out, the stadium went silent, and later, Washington confirmed what everyone feared: torn ACL. Season over, career possibly over. And now the question everyone's asking, was Jay Ward's hit dirty? Kevin O'Connell doesn't think so, and he's defending his player hard. Here's what the head coach said after the game. I know for a fact there was no bad intent behind that play. Things are happening fast out there, and low to avoid hitting Ertz high, which would have resulted in a penalty and possibly a fine. But here's the problem with that logic. The league has spent years trying to eliminate high hits to protect players' heads. So defenders are taught to go low, but going low can destroy knees. Just like what happened to Ertz. So where exactly is a defender supposed to hit? O'Connell addressed that too. Unless we start shrinking the strike zone and start talking about from the ground up. Didn't lead with his helmet. He didn't launch. He didn't target Ertz's head. He went low to make a legal hit, and unfortunately, a devastating injury happened. That's football. O'Connell finished with this. Regardless of jersey, color, or sides. It's the worst part of our game. And in many ways, I believe it's unavoidable in certain instances. Our job is to coach up the guys, to make sure if it is avoidable, to do those things not only for their health, but for the other side as well. Ertz was having another productive season. Do you think Jay Ward's hit was clean or dirty? And should the NFL change the rules to give defenders a clearer strike zone? Drop your opinion below. And if you believe Ward made a legal play in a brutal sport, smash that like button and let the haters know the Vikings played clean football. But while This is Justin Jefferson, the face of the Vikings franchise, and he's so desperate to get back on the field that Kevin O'Connell had to stage an intervention during a 31-0 blowout. Let that sink in. Minnesota is dominating Washington. The game is over with 7 or 8 minutes left, and Jefferson is trying to accept being pulled. O'Connell described the scene after the game. He tried to avoid me and run out on the field. A collective group effort between myself, Keenan, and a couple other folks, probably Dave Course, our security guy as well, because Justin did not want to come out of the game. Security. They needed security to keep the best receiver in the NFL off the field in garbage time. That's not just competitive fire. That's desperation. And here's why Jefferson is so frustrated. He hasn't scored or catches, and 32.2 yards per game since then. Against Washington, he had 2 catches for 11 yards. 2, 4, 11. This is a guy who's averaged 95.6 yards per game over his first 5 seasons, and this year he's down to a career-low 62.5 yards per game. Why? Because J. McCarthy is still learning how to operate an NFL offense, and defenses are selling out to stop Jefferson on every single play. Kevin O'Connell addressed the situation head-on. If Justin has demonstrated anything this year, it's leadership. The smile on his face right now. He wants to win. We're going to find ways to get Justin the ball. He did not play 60 minutes today. That was a tough conversation. O'Connell also pushed back on the narrative that Jefferson's having a bad season. In this day and age where it's really easy to look at stats and say this guy did this and that guy did that, Justin Jefferson's been playing at a really high level. It's not necessarily going to always show up in the stat sheet, but he means the absolute WORL to this organization. You don't have a performance like we did today unless you're leadership. Justin, being a huge part of that, remains driving the ship forward. That's the head coach defending his star player, acknowledging the stats don't reflect Jefferson's impact. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Jefferson's competitive fire is burning so hot that it's creating tension. He's hiding from coaches. He's forcing security to intervene. He's visibly frustrated on the sidelines. And while O'Connell is right that Jefferson's leadership and effort matter, the reality is this: if the Vikings don't find a way to get him more involved, this frustration could explode. The good news? McCarthy just posted a career-high passer rating with 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. The offense is starting to click, and next week's matchup against Dallas has an over-under of 47.5 points, one of the highest totals of the week. That means Minnesota's offense is expected to score, and Jefferson should finally get his opportunities. Do you think Justin Jefferson's frustration is justified, or is he being too emotional in a blowout win? And can J. McCarthy unlock Jefferson's full potential against Dallas? Drop your prediction below, and if you believe Jefferson is still the best receiver in the NFL, hit that like button and remind the doubters why he's a superstar. But the question everyone's asking is simple: can this Vikings team actually make the playoffs? That answer is coming. Stay locked. 3 stories. 1 common thread. Fire. Adam Thielen burned bridges, claiming he rediscovered his love for the game after 1 catch in Pittsburgh. Jay Ward delivered a devastating hit that ended Zach Ertz's season and sparked a league-wide debate. And Justin Jefferson had to be physically restrained by security because he refused to leave a blowout game. This team has intensity, passion, and problems. Minnesota is 5-8, last place in the NFC North. But the 31-0 shutout proved something. When this team plays clean, they can dominate. Next week, Dallas on Sunday Night Football. High-scoring game expected. If McCarthy builds on his career-high rating, if Jefferson gets his touches, the Vikings can make noise. Here's what I need. 1. Like if you believe Minnesota can still shock the league. 2. Comment your Cowboys prediction: does Jefferson score? 3. Subscribe and prove to Packers fans the North isn't over. But here's the cliff. This is a rumor. Sources say Jefferson called a players-only meeting after Washington. No coaches. What was said could unite or fracture this locker room. Plus, Green Bay just cleared $22 million in cap space, and they're hunting. SKOL Nation, the battle is here. Subscribe, stay locked, and let's make the North bleed purple. See you in the next war.